Hi guys, my name is Chavez. For those of you that don't know me, I'm 18, and this video is basically just to spread awareness on my cancer and share a little bit more about my story and what my journey has been like these past 6 months. I've been wanting to make a video like this for a really long time, not just on my cancer. Like, I'm really into makeup and all that, but this came along and it's something that I thought to myself, like, this could probably help others, because I know when I was diagnosed, I searched up people on YouTube just to see like what other people had to say about it, and surprisingly I didn't find that much. I don't know if it's because people don't have like the strength to do it, like they're too weak, or they don't have the time, they're too sick, I don't know. But personally, I wanted to do this. Sorry. Yeah, so I have nothing better to do. So yeah, I said I'll do this video. Okay, so I was diagnosed November 17 of 2015. My symptoms started the end of October, and it was around it was like the last week or two of October when I noticed myself feeling different. I was having a lot of nausea every day, but I never actually vomited. I wouldn't let myself because I hate the feeling. I just rather take it. Like, no, I can't deal with vomiting. And then I was having these horrible headaches that felt like migraines. Probably were migraines. No, they could have been migraines. But if you've never had migraines, good for you, because you don't know the pain those cause. Like, I had migraines when I was younger, like in middle school. I don't know why, but yeah, I started having migraines, and they would last an hour. Yeah, they usually last an hour, and then I know when they're about to start because my vision gets blurry. Like, you start seeing blurry, and then once your vision clears up again, that's when it starts. And it starts like right here, kind of like your sinuses, and it's just horrible pain. Like, it just goes all over, and you get really irritated by any noise, any light. You're really sensitive to that stuff, and it's just painful. So I started getting headaches like that, and I was like, okay, like, I'll take some ibuprofen. I would take ibuprofen and it wouldn't help, but I never really like thought more of it because I had it before. And I was like, okay, they last an hour anyways, like, I could do it. And was having a lot of energy loss, like fatigue. Walking from one class to another was exhausting. Like, it wore me out so much. I was hyperventilating. I would finish a full water bottle just like walking from one period to the next. Like, it was ridiculous. And I didn't understand why. I was like, why am I so tired? And it just felt like I ran a mile or something without stopping. And I noticed myself falling asleep in almost, like every class, which is not normal. I mean, I think it's okay, like, if it happens in first period once in a while, because it's first period. But when you're in fifth period, it's after lunch, and you should be awake, like, I think. At least that's how I was. And yeah, I would sleep through the whole period. And it was really weird to me. Like, I was like, why am I all of a sudden falling asleep in here? Like, this was my fun class. And yeah, just feeling tired, weak, no energy, the nausea, the headaches. I would come home, take a nap, wake up, and go back to sleep. Like, I was constantly sleeping, but I was constantly tired. So it made no sense. And just changing, like, after shower, oh my gosh, it was so much work. Like, my heart rate was at 150, which is fast if you know your, like, vitals and stuff. I was in a medical program, so we got to learn how to take vital signs and do all that in class on each other. So I had a pretty good idea of what my vitals should be. And my dad has a pulse ox, which is a little machine that goes on your finger, and it reads your oxygen level and your pulse. And my oxygen was fine. It was just my heart rate. My heart rate was just through the roof. And I was like, okay, like, I could be laying down and it would still be at like 140. So that started to freak me out. I was like, why am I so, like, accelerated? And like, everything was just, I think it was just overwhelming me, like, all the symptoms, because I was fine, and then all of a sudden all this stuff started to happen, and my heart rate was so fast that I could hear my heart beating. I don't know if I could hear it through my ears or my chest, but you can hear it. And it was scary. I was like, what if something's wrong with my heart? So I started to get like I don't know if it was like a panic attack, anxiety attack, I don't know. I was just panicking. And I called my mom during 5th period one day, and I asked her to take me to my pediatrician because I was not feeling good. Like, I was just done feeling so crappy. And I'm not the type of person to complain or really speak out when I don't feel good, because I don't know, I just think like I can handle it. So I have, or had a habit of going a month feeling like that and not telling anyone. So when I got to the doctor, my doctor, he's been my doctor for over 10 years. So I'm really close to him, and he basically said it was an asthma attack. When I was like around 10 maybe, he said I had asthma, which I don't believe, because I have, honestly, if anything, I've only had one asthma attack my whole life. That literally, like, I couldn't breathe. But other than that, I'm fine. And I wouldn't even take my asthma medication because I didn't need it. But he thought I was taking it all these years. So when I got there, I was so frustrated and I was scared that I told him, I was like, I don't even take the medication, so I know it's not asthma. Like, I was telling him, like, I was trying to like fight it. Like, I always argue with him, and then he's like, well, see, because you're not taking your asthma medication, you're feeling like this. Like, if that were the case, I would have been like this years ago. So I was like, okay, like, I don't want to argue no more. So I was like, okay, I'll take the treatment you give me and see how I feel. And then he ordered a chest x-ray for me because I was so worried about my heart, and he ordered blood work for my thyroid, and he did drug test, pregnancy test, he did everything. I was like, I am not pregnant, I'm not on drugs, like, you're just wasting your time. I just want to know if my heart's okay. And oh, and I remember I was pale. Like, everyone said I looked really pale, but he said it was the lack of oxygen. I don't know. So I did everything and everything came out fine. My heart was fine. My lungs were apparently fine. Like, everything was fine. And then I told him about the headaches, and he said it was probably just my allergies, because I get seasonal allergies, and it's really dry where I live. The air out here is just the weather, man. And yeah, he's like, you probably just need like a nasal spray for your sinuses. And I was like, okay. So he gives me the spray, he gives me the asthma medication, and then he gives me these steroids that I had to take for 5 days that help open your airways. And I took it. Like, I did everything, and I was obviously going to feel better because he gave me something, you know. And yeah, we did like a follow-up after like a week or two, I don't know. And yeah, it got worse, because I ended up fainting in our hallway. I ended up fainting November 14th. Yeah, November 14th. It was a Saturday, and my older sister came into town to go to a wedding, and she wanted us to babysit my nephew. So obviously I said yes, because I love my nephew, and I barely get to see him. So like, I was stoked, like, alright. And then she was in a rush, and she had me help her curl her hair. So I'm curling her hair, and I'm getting exhausted, like, and I was having like hot flashes. Like, it was hot, I was tired, but I just kept going, you know. I had to help her. And then she asked me to go help her put her dress on. So I go to help her, and that's when I start feeling weaker, nauseous, dizzy, and I tell her, like, I can't do this, I'm gonna go tell mom to come help you. And she said okay. And so then I left the room, and at that point I was really dizzy, and my heart rate was just crazy. Like, I was hyperventilating, but I had to use the restroom, so I went to the restroom, and like, thank God that went fine. And after I went to grab my dad's pulse ox for my finger, and I grabbed it, but it was taking too long to read, and I was getting frustrated. I just threw it, and I was like, I'll just walk to the living room where my dad is to tell him. And then, yeah, halfway there I just fainted. I was out for a few seconds. Like, where I was to the living room is not far. Like, it's not far. So it happened pretty fast. And then where my dad was sitting, he got to see or hear me fall, and he thought I had tripped. So when he saw I didn't get up, and once I did, like, wake up, I was crying because I was scared. Like, I never fainted before. So yeah, they helped me up, and then we have a machine to check our blood pressure also. And yeah, we checked my blood pressure. They gave me orange juice. They asked me, do you want to go to the hospital? And I said no, because I thought about my nephew, and I was like, if I go to the hospital, they're not going to go to the wedding, and I'm going to feel bad. And then hospitals make you wait like forever in the ER, so I was like, no thank you. Yeah, I was like, I feel fine now, and I didn't go. And the next day, Sunday, I just felt worse by the end of the day, and I took a shower, like, to go to school the next day. And yeah, after my shower, like I said, I would get exhausted. I just decided to tell my parents to take me to the hospital, and they did. So my dad took me to the hospital, and when I got there, they did blood work, and that's how the doctor knew that I was anemic. Your I'm sorry. your hemoglobin is supposed to be around a 12, like your iron level. I got there at like a 4.5. So no blood in me, which explained the headaches and the low energy. It just all made sense, right? So I was like, alright, cool, like I'll just get blood transfusion and I'll be on my way. Like, it wasn't shocking to me because I've donated blood before, and then lately when I tried to donate again, my iron was too low. It was like at 11, but that is still too low to donate blood. It wasn't dangerously low, so obviously for it to just drop that low is alarming, but I guess that's why I wasn't surprised, and I didn't think much of it. So when they told me I had to be admitted and get 2 blood transfusions, I wasn't scared or anything. I was like, okay. And they admit me and they start the transfusions. Each transfusion takes 2 hours because of the speed that they put it in, so it won't shock your body, because sometimes people don't react well to it. Thankfully I have. So yeah, each one takes 2 hours. I slept through, I want to say I slept through both of them, or half of the second one. Like, I was up for the last hour. Like, I was just tired, you know? And obviously I was concerned as to why I was anemic. Like, what should I do? Like, what should I eat? So I asked why, if they knew why I was anemic, and they said that's what they were trying to figure out. I'm sure they knew, but they can't tell you until they're sure. So they told me that I would be transferred to either UCLA or Children's Hospital LA, and whichever one had a room available first, because they had the better doctors and equipment. And yeah, so I was like, okay. So Children's Hospital was the one that was available, and they got an ambulance for me and transported me there. So I got an ambulance ride for the first time. Obviously by then I was feeling better because I had blood, which is what I needed. Once I got there, like, I had only been there once before to that hospital. So, and I've never been admitted to a hospital before, so everything was new and interesting to me because I find the medical field interesting. I want to be a nurse, and yeah, like, I was fine with everything. And then they tell me that I have to do a bone marrow biopsy. I mean, when I first heard that, it's like, okay, what is that? Like, these are big words that I do not know. Like, they just tell you stuff and they expect you to know what it is. Like, It's crazy. My biggest fear was being put under to sleep and surgery and all that, because I've never experienced that and I never wanted to. So they explain to you obviously the whole procedure, and because they have to, like, you have to know what you're going in for. And I was like, okay, like, the way they explain it is so, like, they dance around it so much that they make it sound like it's okay. But then you make the mistake and you Google. Google is a curse, because you see everything on there. I think it was my mom was talking on the phone with my older sister, and I overheard her say, "Are you sure they have to do that to Jackie? It looks painful." And I was like, "What you mean it looks painful?" So I Google like bone marrow biopsy images, and it shows like little graphics, I don't know, and I was like, doesn't look too bad. But then I don't know, I just started reading on it and I was like, I don't know. What? Like, and I would ask the nurses, I was like, does this hurt? Like, or what do the other kids do after they do this? Like, and they're like, oh, they're fine, they're walking right after. And I'm like, how? Like, I don't know, I'm just mind blown. And she's like, just walk, like, right after. The sooner you start walking, the better you start feeling. And those words stuck to me. Like, there's some things people tell me and it will never leave my head. Like, yeah. So she tells me that, and I was like, alright, like, it's cool, like, I could do this. The next morning comes and they're ready for me to do the procedure, and I was like, oh no, I was alone. Why was I alone? I do not remember. I think my mom had to go home and like check on my little brother, and then my dad was working in here and he came, like, they switched off or something, I don't know. I just know I was alone and terrified because I was doing this alone, and I was only 17 at the time, which I don't think they could take me. Like, I don't care if my parents signed for it, they're not there. Like, I felt like a baby. I was like, no, I can wait. And I stalled so much. Like, I was like, my parents aren't even here yet. And she's like, it's fine, like, they can meet you there. And I was like, girl, no. And I was like, can I use your phone to call? Because I didn't have a phone. And then no one answered me. I called my mom, I called my dad, I called my older brother, I called my older sister. No one was answering. And I was like, oh my, why me? And I start crying because I'm just getting overwhelmed. I'm like, no one is answering me. I'm in this hospital alone, about to do this procedure. Like, why? And the nurse, she like she saw me and she's like, it's okay, like, you'll be fine. She gave me like some time, and then finally, like, oh my, final, like, those last few seconds, my dad walks in and I was like, I just, like, it's that moment where you're mad to see that person, but you're happy at the same time. And I was like, good lord. I mean, last minute, my sister did answer. I called my house phone, and thankfully she was here, because she came down to watch my little brother. And she answered the house phone, and then I told her, like, that's when I was already crying, because no one was answering me. And she's like, it's fine, like, you're gonna be okay. Like, she was telling me, like, I was like, try to calm down. And then, yeah, so they take me, and I'm in the pre-op room, like, where they prepare you, and I'm just bawling my eyes out, crying, like, terrified. I did not want to go through it. And they saw how scared I was, and one of the nurses was like, do you want happy juice? And I was like, if it's gonna make me feel better, yes. So she injects this liquid in my IV, and yeah, instantly you start feeling like happy. Hence happy juice. You I don't know, I was like loopy, like laughing. I was just giggling, and then because she asked me, she's like, do you feel it? And I started giggling, and she's like, she feels it. And I'm pretty sure I said some dumb stuff in the surgery room, because all I remember is making them laugh. I don't know what I said. I know they were laughing, and I woke up screaming from the pain that I did not think I would experience. Honestly, I did not think it would be that bad. I was just scared, like my nerves, but it actually did hurt. And I mean, why wouldn't it? It's bone marrow. Bone marrow is inside of your bone, like it's the spongy part. What they do is they stick a needle, a pretty thick one, and they stick it in there, and they pull, and they take whatever they need. That's your bone marrow. And they do it on the sides of your hip, either the front or back. They did my back, and they did both sides. They had told me it would be one side, but when I woke up, I had to bandage it. I didn't argue. I was like, whatever it takes, as long as I don't have to do that again. And yeah, when I woke up screaming, they just gave me morphine twice, like right away. And morphine just knocks you out, like, especially if you don't get it, like if you've never had morphine and you get it, it will knock you out. Like, you'll just knock out, fall asleep. It makes you really thirsty too, like dehydrated. I don't know why. But yeah, they gave me that, and then once I was okay, they sent me back to my room, and they had the results really fast. I obviously knew that they would check for leukemia, if that's what they were checking for. Did I ever think I would have leukemia? Yeah, I mean, it crosses your mind. You don't, or at least I didn't think on the subject that much. It's something you don't want to believe or think about. But I processed it, and I prepared myself basically for the worst. I knew what could be, what couldn't be, and I was fine with that. I don't know, I guess I had faith. I unknowingly had faith in God, because I wasn't, I don't know, but I was okay going in for it. And then, once the results were back, and the doctor walks in, I don't know if it was his face or his vibe, but I automatically knew what he was gonna say. And I had the TV on, and he even says, he asks if I could turn the TV off, and I was like, oh, he's gonna say it. And sure enough, he says it. He says, you have leukemia cells in your bone marrow. And I was laying on my bed, reactionless, like no reaction, no emotion, just staring into space, I guess trying to grasp what he had just said, like process it. I mean, I heard him, I kind of saw it coming. I don't know I honestly do not know what the first thing went through my mind, or what I thought, or I don't know what his exact words were. I know it's something about leukemia or something. But yeah, I laid there for a few seconds, I think, and then I look over and I see my dad bawling out, crying, and that's when I started crying, because my dad is a very strong person when it comes to being strong in situations like that. I feel, I don't know, I saw him and I got scared. I was like, oh my gosh. And I'm just laying there and I'm like, I think that's when I saw him crying, that's when it hit me. And I was like, whoa, like, and yeah, I just started crying. Like, I couldn't, seeing him in pain made me sad. Like, you don't want to put your parents through that pain. And that's what I felt I was doing. I felt so like powerless because I couldn't do anything about it. You know, it's cancer. Like, what do you do? So to see him like that was really hard on me because I love my parents and I cannot stand seeing them in pain, and especially if it's because of me. Like, no, like, that can't happen, you know? So I just felt like a failure. I felt like I'm letting them down. This is my fault. Like, what? Like, why? And the worst part also was that the doctor, he tells you this news, but he doesn't tell you if it's curable. He doesn't tell you what type you have because they don't know yet. And then my mom wasn't even there, so when my mom got there, I had to tell her. Like really? Like, you couldn't wait till the morning at least? Like, I don't know. My mom was on her way back. My older brother was gonna drive her. And she was only like, I don't know, maybe half an hour away. And I called my sister to ask her where she was because she was taking so long. And I start crying on the phone. And she asks me why I'm crying. And I tell her the news. And I just told her, I was like, they told me my dad. Mom doesn't know yet. I don't want her to know until she gets here. Because obviously I don't want her. I didn't know who was driving. I didn't know. I just knew that I had to tell her in person. Like, you can't just tell your mom that through the phone. Like, no. And especially if they're in a vehicle, like, no. So I told her, I was like, I'm telling you, but don't tell them because they're not here yet, and I'm gonna tell them. And she said, okay. And then, because I had called my older brother, but he didn't answer me until after I talked to my sister. And I answered, and then I asked him, I was like, oh, like, I just wanted to know where you guys were, like, because you're taking so long. And he's like, oh, like, we're almost there. Do you want to talk to mom? And I was like, no. Because I knew if I talked to her, I would have started. I would have lost it, and then, no. So I was like, no, it's fine now. I'll see you guys when we get here. But he can hear that I was crying. So he asked me, he's like, why are you crying? And I was like, yeah, it's just my back really hurts from the procedure. And he's like, oh, okay, like you should ask for more like pain meds. And I was like, yeah, the nurse is getting me some. And yeah, they end up getting to my room, and my dad starts crying, and then he tells my mom, but my mom didn't believe him. My dad jokes around a lot, so it's hard to take him serious sometimes. So I had to tell her, and they just both lost it. To like, they were hugging each other, crying, and I was like, oh my gosh, like. And then my older brother was there, and one of my mom's really good friends. She's like an aunt almost. And yeah, I mean, obviously I was crying again, because now my mom knows. And yeah, I was like, I don't know, it's just crazy. And they basically tell me that I have to start chemo the next day. So this is all happening fast, like from one day to the next. So like, I'm in the hospital, overwhelmed with all of this new information that they just expect you to know. Like, it's so much information that I'm still learning. You can't learn all that in a day. Like, I'm 6 months in and I'm still learning. So they tell me that the next day I will get a PICC line where I will receive my chemo and get blood transfusions and platelet transfusions and whatever else I might need. And I was like, okay, what is that? And then they explain it to you, and it's basically this it's like an IV. It's inserted in here, and it goes all the way to my heart. And they put me to sleep for this. Yeah, they just like cut you open a little, and then it goes in your vein. Like, I think it's pretty self-explanatory. But it's been there since November 18th. And it's just there. And I can't get it wet, or it can get infected. So, showering became so, like, draining and not fun. Like, I liked showers, and then all of a sudden I can't use my arm because I can't get it wet. So they have these like gloves that go up to here, and they're plastic, and then it comes with this thing that you pull to tighten, and I have to wear that every time I shower, and it's just weird. You feel like a robot. Like, I mean, yeah, thank God I have my arm. Thank God I can use my arm. Thank God like, I'm thankful for all those things. But no one wants a PICC line. And yeah, I've had it 6 months now, and hopefully I can get it out in 2 months. Hopefully. It's my decision, but I'm a little nervous because if I get it taken out, I have to get IVs once a month, and not the ones here, the one here. And I've never had an IV here, but I heard it hurts. So I don't know. I mean, I've been through worse. Once a month wouldn't hurt, I guess. And I can shower again and go swimming and all that stuff. Because I can't go swimming. I can't go in pools. I can't do none of that. And that's no fun. So, yeah. I mean, it doesn't bug me. Like, you don't feel it. And then I wear these so it won't dangle. I mean, I don't mind if it dangles, but my mom gets kind of like freaked out. She's weird. Yeah, and it helps keep it clean, so yeah, so they put me to sleep to put this in, and at the same time they did a lumbar puncture, which is lumbar puncture, spinal tap. You can do them awake. I did one awake, and I will never ever do it awake again. Been there, done that. Not because it hurt, but okay, I had to get the first one, so they put me to sleep, and I asked what that was. I was like, okay, now I'm going to sleep again. I'm getting poked again in my back this next day from getting the bone marrow. I was like, holy moly. And yeah, they explained to me that they stick another needle between your spine, take out spinal fluid to see if there is cancer cells there, because if there is, it can spread to your brain, which means the cancer is worse. So they had to check that, obviously. Thankfully I had no cancer there, but they also inject chemo so that it doesn't spread there, because this leukemia cells like to hide there, and that's what they did. When I woke up from that procedure, it was 2 in 1. I had a really bad headache, and it was from the lumbar puncture because they take spinal fluid out. You're supposed to lay you down straight for an hour, or you'll get a headache. Yeah, but I woke up with a headache, and they gave me morphine, and it didn't hurt. Like, I did not feel anything from my back. Like, I felt like it didn't do anything. I still felt the one from the day before, like the bone marrow. That one, I think I was sore for like 2 or 3 days. I walked right after, like the nurse told me. I was walking like a turtle, but I was walking. I was like, no, I am not gonna let this, bring me down. I was like, I'm walking. So I was, walking like a turtle, but I was walking, and I don't know, maybe that did help, walking. Yeah, so I woke up from the second one. I didn't feel anything in my back, which was good. It was just a headache, and this was very sore. Because, I mean, it's going to my heart. Like, isn't that insane? It's crazy. I think that's crazy. Like, medicine has come such a long way. It's insane. I mean, it still has such a long way to go. But, I mean, back in the day, they didn't even have chemo. All you can get was radiation. So, I mean, yeah, there's just a lot. So, trying to think. I didn't want this to be long, but you can't tell a cancer story in an hour, you know? Like, every day is a struggle, a fight. And yeah, I'm trying to think. I had that done, and then obviously I started having visitors. I feel like, honestly, the amount of visitors I had, I feel like the whole cafeteria was just my family. Because everybody's like, oh, like, you're in the cafeteria, okay. Like, because, you can only have, like, a certain amount of visitors upstairs. I'm not even gonna lie, I had 20 at once. And they didn't tell me nothing. But, we did the whole swapping thing. That swapping thing Mexicans do. All you hear is, yeah, like, they'll go and then you get her pass and then this and this, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like in trouble. Yeah, but, like, my family just started calling each other. Like, my parents didn't even tell half the people that were there, but they were there because everyone else was communicating, and I thought that was really cool. Like, I don't know, I felt weird because, I mean, they're coming to see me at a hospital because I have cancer. And then people would come in crying, and I'm just like, oh my, it was just so emotional. And yeah, like, everyone's giving me like these pep talks and just trying to keep my spirits up, and I appreciate it so much. Like, I don't know if family will see this video, close friends and stuff, but I appreciate every single one that went to see me in that hospital, because it honestly shows you who is there for you and who isn't, because that's just it. Like, when people tell you, like, you don't know who your true friends and family are until you're dead, in the hospital, in jail, like, that is so true. It's scary how true that is, because that's when everyone's true colors come out. And let me tell you, there's some family that you would think would keep in touch, you know, throw in a text here and there, I don't know, and they don't, and it's confusing, and it's sad. Like, I feel sad for them. I'm not sad for me, because I know I am way, way, way more blessed with the people that I do have in my life, that keep in touch, that have taken time to visit me, my parents, because I'm not in this alone, you know? So to see my parents sad because one of their family members hasn't reached out to them, and I see them hurt about that, it's like don't even stress about that, you know? Like why do you, honestly, why do you care? Like, I don't know, I probably sound like selfish or something right now, but I don't care if you're my family. Like, I don't care if we're blood related. If you're gonna treat me a certain way, I will treat you the same way. Like, I'm not gonna be sad because you're not talking to me. Like, that's your decision, you know? So for me to see them mad or sad about that, it's like, it's dumb, because me going through cancer is obviously way more important than whatever problems are going on over there. Like, they don't want to keep in touch, then they don't need to keep in touch. That's their choice. So I don't lose sleep over it, that's for sure. I don't wish anything bad upon anybody, especially not this. Like, you don't wish this upon anyone. Like, if anyone had to get it, I'm glad it was me, you know? Because I don't want to see my sister, my brothers, my parents, you know, someone I love go through this. I'd rather go through it. If someone has to do it, I will do it, and I'm doing it. So yeah, I don't know. Things like this open your eyes. It opens your mind. You see a lot of things, and you grow a lot. Like, I don't know, I think I've grown a lot. I'm constantly growing, you know, like, mature wise and all that. But going through something like this is definitely just a complete 360, like, crazy. I don't know. I don't know what I would do if I didn't have the support group that I have, because I got depressed. Like, I was depressed and I didn't even know it. And I think that's when you're at your worst, honestly. Because I've been depressed for other reasons before, and this type of depression is just another extreme. Like, you insist that you're fine, you insist that you're okay, that you don't need anything, especially when you're as independent as I was. And all of a sudden something like this happens and you keep insisting that you're fine, but you're not. And I took a while to realize it for myself, that I wasn't okay and I needed help from therapists at the hospital and stuff, because it's a lot. Yeah, they got me a therapist, they got me medications to help me sleep, because I wasn't sleeping, I wasn't eating, I wasn't leaving my room, I wasn't doing anything anymore, and I felt fine, but I wasn't. And I know now that I'm doing better. Obviously, I'm not 100% okay, but I'm way better than I was in the beginning. Like, I wish I knew what I know now, because it would have been that much easier. Because it's honestly, like, it's not, I don't think this is that hard. Like, alright, I'm getting chemo. I feel shitty sometimes, but I'm getting chemo and I'm living. What more do I want? You know? I don't know, I just have, I guess, different outlooks on situations where I just think really differently, and some people don't understand me sometimes. But I don't like, people ask me, like, how are you so happy? Like, I mean, believe me, I have my days where you don't want to be near me. But that's fine. Everyone has days like that. I'm allowed to have days like that. It's life. So when people see me have a bad day, they get scared. They freak out and they think I'm going crazy. And it's like, hello, I'm human. I have feelings. I'm going through cancer, through treatment. What do you want me to do? Like, I can't be happy and bubbly all the time. Like, you know? So I get really offended when people think that the chemo is messing me up or something. Like, no, that's rude. Why would you? No. It irritates me when people assume things like that. Like when I'm in the hospital and I have my little meltdowns. And they want to start giving me like stuff for anxiety and depression, and they want to call the therapist. Like, I'm not crazy. Like, I just want to slap them sometimes. Like, hello, you go through this and tell me how you would feel. I think I'm handling this pretty damn good. And I think I don't get enough credit for that. Because when I do have my bad days and people just talk down to me, like, people don't care when I have my bad days. They want me to be happy, forcefully, and that pisses me off. Because you can't force someone to be happy. If I'm not happy, I'm not happy. I'm not gonna put on a smile for you. Like, sorry. It's like, I don't know. People are just weird. I would understand because I'm going through it, right? But I mean, I understand if I wasn't going through this, I wouldn't know what it feels like. I wouldn't know what people think, or what they might think, what they might feel, because not everyone's the same. Not everyone feels what I feel. Not everyone thinks what I think. Not everyone says what I say. Not everyone does what I do. Like, I can talk to a bajillion cancer people, and each story will be different because we're all different. We can have some similarities, but no one is the same. So everyone has their own experience, and it's, I don't know, people just, because they would always suggest, like, oh, do you want to talk to somebody, see how their experience was, and I'm like, yeah, like, I think that's cool to do, but no two stories are the same. So yeah, they might, like, she could be going through something different and I could be going through something different, and it could be the same cancer. It'll never be the same. So yeah, I don't know, people try to help as much as they can, and I appreciate it. I do. Because I know sometimes I lose it and I get a little crazy. But they still love me. Yeah, I don't know what else to talk about. I mean, if you guys want to see other stuff, you want me to talk about my medications, my side effects from the chemo, because I got some stories. If you want to know, like, my experiences with the nurses, with the doctors, with the procedures, how many procedures I've had, how many blood transfusions I've had, how long I've been admitted without leaving the hospital. My journey's been a crazy one. If you want to know more about how my family is handling it, my parents, my older sister, my brothers, my aunts, uncles, cousins, friends, my school, teachers, I don't know, whatever. Yeah, I would love to make another video and just rant because I got nothing better to do. Bye.